When the brief was given, I struggled to find a suitable narrative and cast to fit the postmodern style I've gone for. I chose to use a cast of 3 people. I thought this would draw the audience in and become more intimate with the characters. I filmed everything in the space of a week, taking time to find the right moments to film the right things. For example, I stayed up till the moon was out on a clear sky. I researched into when the moon was going to be full. All this research gave me another chance to get a more artistic edge on my film, so I took the time to find a good range of shots that were more thought-provoking for the audience. The audience were confused at the start, making comments on things such as Henry walking up the stairs and going into the dream sequence where L16 makes the comment that she likes the voiceover. She likes it when he opens the curtains and when he answers the policeman, but she wasn't sure about Henry walking up the stairs to the field. When he goes into the dream sequence, it's not clear. So maybe you could add a transition here to make it more clear to the audience. I like the shots with Ollie as he looks eerie, and this effect works, but I'm not sure about the effect on Ollie when he appears dreamlike. The audience liked the beginning when Henry was waking up. The main thing they liked about it was the titles I used. I watched the films Fight Club and Seven and saw that their titles were like it. And it set the scene for something wasn't right straight from the off. At first, some people commented that they didn't understand what was going on. It took a while for the storyline to come into play. However, Charlie1991 said that my opening appeared better after my first cut, although she didn't like the abrupt stopping of the music I made. But I thought it put another element in, saying that the music was a sort of comfort for Henry. And when I added the title, Drowning Silence, I think it created a certain eeriness about the place. I wanted to completely isolate the audience from Henry, and so that sympathy and emotion would come on later. I mean, although she said this, she also said that my opening appears immediately better after my first cut. It's more to the point, and the contrast to Henry in the bath, and then he wakes up and grabs the audience's attention to want to watch more. And the music at the start fits the genre of my film. I'm not sure when it suddenly stops, like I said earlier. But yeah, she really likes the music at the end, and it fits into the genre of my film. And creative idea of the use of voices as well, with the voiceovers. This part of the film was the hardest because I wanted everything to flow really naturally, as this is the first time that the audience see Ollie and Henry sort of connecting with each other. At first, it didn't really mix well together. I got comments from other people saying that it wasn't as good as it could be. So I made it sort of tighter, made the cuts shorter, and overall, well, Tom said that it was actually quite scary, and it was quite in your face in a way, and I sort of changed it for the better, because overall I wanted my film to have that effect at the end, like the shock value at the end of it. I wanted the audience to feel connected to Henry in some way or shape or form. So whether that be like sympathy or empathy or what. So in the framing of my shots, I sort of took into account what the audience would want to see from Henry, and I sort of showed him in 2 different lights. One from where he's not exactly parallel with the camera, he's not connected with it in any way, especially in the morning scene when he wakes up. He doesn't look straight into the camera, and there's the element that Ollie is actually standing in front of him watching him, although he's not seen on camera. Whereas at the end we see that when he finally cracks and he shows us sort of like his aggressive side, which we shouldn't really see from someone like that's viewed so calm in the morning. I considered the audience's comments as shown before, and I've developed on those comments. Like in the beginning of the film, some people said that it didn't make sense. Changed it, made it more tighter, made some of the shots a bit longer, some of them a bit shorter, because it prolonged a bit too much, some of it. But the relationship between Henry and the audience is very much connected at the beginning. However, when you get to the end, it becomes a little bit disconnected as we see a different light. And Ollie sort of helps us disconnect from him as we see Henry as an even more feeble character, and we don't quite understand what he's going through. When he shouts "Get out of my head" at the end in the dream sequence, the audience could sort of think that he's saying it to us, as we're viewing Ollie viewing Henry. It's kind of the audience are in a difficult moral sort of decision to sort of try and help him, but they can't. But the thing is, Henry's looking up into the camera, and as Ollie's shorter and he's sort of like the puppet, he should be looking down into the camera. But I wanted to use a high angle shot because it relates to sort of like power and stuff, and Ollie still has the power, and sort of the camera could be the audience. You could be viewed as the audience have power over Henry, but it's not accessible, and the audience can't feel their sympathy can get to him enough.